Hey everyone, today we are looking at hidden or secret mechanics within the game, many of which are kind of useless maybe, but some which could possibly help you someday. Let's get into it. When facing the Nemesis, you can evade the zombies easily by crouching and breaking line of sight. Even if a zombie is very close by, it will not detect you, and will eventually begin to walk away. If you prefer to hide less, zombies can also be destroyed with the perk head on, as well as with use of pallets. Freddy's Dreamworld projection ability allows him to teleport to generators around the map. However, it's possible you didn't know that this ability actually recharges quicker when survivors are in the Dreamworld, with this ability replenishing 15% faster for each survivor in the Dreamworld, up to 60%. With all survivors in the Dreamworld, projection returns after just 18 seconds. Visually, this will result in the recharge regressing far less after a teleport. The way the Cenobite's box spawns are based on the locations of survivors and killers, giving greater favor to a location where no one is. However, it has the tendency to spawn closer to survivors, and will wait higher against the killer's location, to make sure it doesn't start next to you. In the background clip, you can see that I walk around, find the locations of the survivors, considering my own, and I'm able to quickly find the box. Another efficient way is to run the perk Lethal Pursuer, so you see all locations at the start of the trial. When charging your blinks as Nurse, you can see small balls in the Nurse's hand. These represent the number of blinks you have available. This changes depending on how many charges you've used, or which add-ons you run. A similar thing can be seen with the Artist. You'll be able to see 3 ink strips that indicate the number of crows available to you. One thing a lot of people don't know is that you can escape the trial with a reverse bear trap on your head if it isn't active. However, you are unable to escape through the exit if the trap is active. You can escape through the hatch though instead, and the trap will not activate. You can also do the same with the twins. Having Victor on you disallows escape from the trial through the exit gates. However, if you go through the hatch, you can take Victor with you. Oni's power has a passive recharge. It will take around 8 minutes to fully recharge Blood Fury passively, however you cannot fully recharge it, but only up to 99%. This means you have to get a hit in order to achieve your power at any given time. Another kind of useless one, but Trickster has a lullaby. It's a very faint sound you can hear when close by to him as a survivor. It extends out for around 40 meters, and the sound will vary based on how far you are. Again, it's really not that easy to hear in an actual match, and probably won't help you. But hey, it's a thing. When facing Artist, a more commonly known trick is that you can rid crows by hopping into a locker. However, you can get rid of crows in a few ways. You can get rid of the crows of another survivor with a flashlight. You can shine it onto them for a short time, and the crows will disperse. You can also cleanse your own crows by dropping a firecracker at your own feet too. This isn't exactly the most efficient strategy, especially because it's going to blind you, but it does work. So yeah, up to you I guess. Just use a locker though, it's way quicker. Despite this, using your flashlight on crows within the trials, or dropping a firecracker close by to them, will not disturb them or cause them to fly away, which is slightly odd I think. An interesting visual thing that you may not know is that when using the perk Blast Mine, when activating the perk, it will cause a flashbang to actually spawn on the generator. This doesn't seem to serve a purpose, as the killer cannot see this. I guess it's just a visual shared between survivors, so you can communicate which generator has a blast mine installed, I guess. When facing Pinhead, an easy way to rid yourself of the chains is to use the environment to break them. If you move around an object to a position where the origin of the chain doesn't have line of sight, it breaks. You can also break chains by entering lockers. A cool interaction that happens with Freddy and the perk Adrenaline is that as a survivor, you can wake yourself up out of the dream world. You can also wake yourself up by doing things like failing skill checks, although this will still alert the killer to your position. This is a simple one, but unlike most aura-based perks, Fogwise will overrule undetectable on stealth killers, or any killer within stealth, and reveal them anyway. Maybe this is to do with the perk being somewhat bound to the fog itself, with the eye peering through. When undetectable, the killers have fog shrouding their screen, so maybe that's why, as the lore reason. Wraith usually has a shimmer to him when moving, however he will go completely invisible when stationary or beyond 20 meters. The distance his bell can be heard is 24 meters, and the sound effect you hear when he cloaks will not be heard beyond 40 meters. When the offering screen appears, you may not know that they tell you something more than just what the offerings themselves are. Offerings have interactions depending on which ones are brought. The most obvious case of this is secret offerings, which do not flip on the offering screen. However, offerings will also shake when they are stacking together or conflicting. This will happen if you say, bring 2 offerings that make the fog thicker. In this example, these 2 coins cancel each other out, causing them to shake. This can help if you don't want to read everything, but it's really just a visual thing. Hag's traps have a small ring around them, identifying their interaction range when playing as the hag. If a survivor enters this ring, the trap triggers, but they cannot see the ring, only the trap itself. When standing still and not doing any actions, Plague's plague will not progress. It also won't progress when walking, with it only progressing or activating when running or doing an action of some kind. Therefore, when moving between areas, it's a good idea to walk, to slow its progress. Flashlights have a bunch of utility aside just blinding the killer directly. They can interact in interesting ways with a lot of different killers. A more well-known one is that they can destroy Hag's traps. They can also help you to find them by shining your flashlight close by to a trap, which will reveal its aura. They can also pause the stalk progress of Ghostface and Shape, disallowing them to stalk. When blinding a legion, it will kick them out of their power, and will do so without stunning them. This can often play to the benefit of Legion, as it can allow them to continue chase without needing to suffer the short stun animation. Flashlights can also blind characters even when you can't see them. When Spirit is phasing, you can blind Spirit still. The same goes for Wraith, although this isn't particularly reliable. You can even blind Victor, although this doesn't kick him back to Charlotte. Another counter that doesn't happen too often, that you may not be aware of, is that you can pallet stun him too. There is a hidden mechanic in game called Light Burn. Light Burn affects the characters Wraith and Nurse. You can burn these 2 characters, resulting in a stun, after shining your flashlight anywhere on their body, whilst they are using their power. When Wraith is cloaked, you can stun him out of his stealth, and when Nurse is charging a blink, you can stop her from blinking, but also stun her briefly. Stunning Wraith is a lot more reliable, and actually a pretty good counter. Stunning Nurse is pretty much impossible. But pausing her from blinking for a short amount of time can come in handy now and then. There is a debuff named Hearing, which can be triggered with Firecrackers, Knockout, and the Disfigured Ear add-on for Hag. According to the wiki, this doesn't appear in-game as an effect, but does take effect on these things. When using a toolbox, your chances of triggering a skill check are 5 times more than usual, so it's often worth it to go for them to make the most of the extra number you are getting during this time. The perk Franklin's Demise can be used on killers who utilize special items. Cenobite can use it to force survivors to drop the box in just 1 hit, and Nemesis and Wesker can use it to force the survivors to drop vaccines or sprays. There are 2 different types of generators. This is purely a cosmetic thing, but basically outdoor generators or generators with high clearance will spawn in as these red generators, and the typically indoor generators will be yellow. It's to do with the clearance the generator has above it. The red ones have taller lights above them, and the yellow ones have shorter lights. This is a small thing, but something you may not know: you can break locker locks as Dredge by hitting them with your basic attack. This can be useful a lot of the time for locations that are important and you need to go between. Pinhead can shoot himself with his own chain. You can get across different killer-related things just by crouching. Crouching allows you to not trigger the Hag's traps, walk over Pyramid Head's trail of torment without becoming condemned, and you can also crouch through Freddy's snares. Unfortunately, you can't crouch over bear traps, although that would be really nice. This is something that will barely happen, but when facing Clown or playing Clown, survivors afflicted by the pink cloud will get slowed and have distorted vision. If they interact with a yellow cloud from the Clown, these effects will be instantaneously cleansed, and allow you to move freely once more. When hit by the clown's cloud, you are not just slowed and have your vision distorted, but you also become unable to fast vault. I see a lot of people trying to do this and getting frustrated, when in fact, if affected by the cloud, it's not possible to get over vaults with the complete fast vault animation, only the fast, slow vault, which will take a bit longer. Alright, well that's gonna do it. I do hope you enjoyed, and be sure to share any additional secret or more hidden mechanics I may have missed down below. And I hope you learnt something, maybe. I'm sure there's many more things that I've missed too. Thanks, and okay, bye!